He's actually on his machine now, and I've got my grandson set up like with the movie in the living room. I'm like,
Oh,
listen, I have a meeting, so if you need anything, talk to Taya downstairs.
I know. I've got my kids just took the dog out to run some energy out of him so that hopefully he'll just lay down for the next hour while we try and get through the meeting.
Oh my
I got
gosh,
lucky
guys,
last time.
I have to apologize. I think I missed the last meeting. I apologize for that because I have been working like crazy.
Oh, I guess that's good.
Yeah, it is actually. We're like really short staffed, and when people have to take vacations because they haven't done it in 2 years, I think we're like down to like 4 people, and we've been like covering each other's shifts, so it's been a little crazy. But
Oh,
I'm here today.
thank you. Because we know you're juggling. Everybody's juggling many
Yeah.
things. We appreciate it.
I need to let everyone know that this meeting is being recorded.
Thank you, Brenda.
The person, oh, thanks. I was wondering who's the unknown person there? I see an unknown. Yeah, hi, Crystal. Thanks. We got a couple more minutes, so I guess we're gonna kind of like wait for a couple more minutes. Let everyone kind of get some time to log in. I think we're just kind of waiting for Ross, and Jessica.
Amy, did the BISAC guy end up coming today? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted. Hold on.
Sorry, my family was being loud. I forgot I muted myself. No, I emailed you last night. I had just finished putting a list together for him of everybody to see and when to pull them. And then I got a text that he wasn't going to be able to make it. So I emailed you and, I think the ladies in the front office. I thought I CC'd you on it. Shoot.
You did. But then I thought I saw him on campus and thought he had maybe
done
it. But
it may have been Lee Keke, because Lee Keke comes on Thursdays too and uses Kevin's office.
Oh, maybe that's who I saw. What's that guy's name?
Lee Keke from Liliuokalani Trust.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for subbing. Was it nice to be back with your kiddos today?
Oh yeah, they were. You know, it's like being the Disneyland parent when you come back. You're like, oh, we miss you. You do not. You were so mean to me.
No, I'm sure they do. It's probably good to see you. Hold on one second.
It was good to see them.
Don't. Did you go play? Jessica, Crystal.
I think we're just waiting for Ross to join us, and I just texted him just now.
Perfect. Thanks, TJ.
He's signing on. Hi, Ross.
Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. It's 5:01 p.m. and I just want to go ahead and call this meeting to order. For those of you that do not know who I am, my name is Thomas John Giel. I'm an educational assistant here at Kohala High School, and I'll be facilitating today's meeting. Looking at the agenda that I'm presenting onto the screen here, first item of business is our old business, and we do not really have anything that we need to discuss from our previous meetings. So at this point, we're just going to move over to new business, and we're going to discuss first our ESSE, our funding presentation and feedback, and I'll turn it over to our principal, Ms. Stafford.
Thanks, TJ. Do you mind just clicking on that slide deck for me in the agenda? Chris Michaelis, is that really you?
Yes, it is.
Nice to have visitors. Thank you for joining. Okay, perfect. Do you mind just putting it on present so it's a little bit bigger for everybody? Perfect. Okay, so we had a kind of full agenda for today, and then maybe about a week ago, the state was informed that we needed to get some feedback on our ESSER 3 Educational Plan, and ESSER stands for Elementary and Secondary Schools Emergency Relief. So basically, this plan is the state's focus area, sorry, the state's focus areas to try and curb the impacts of COVID-19. And so anything that they put together, complexes put together plans on how they could help support their schools, and then a state plan was turned in. So we did receive an initial allocation, each complex did, but in order to receive additional allocations, because it is in the millions of dollars that we're looking for some relief for schools, we needed to garner feedback, and so they felt that the SCCs were the best place to do that so quickly. Hoping that we'd have a few more people that joined in to be able to give some feedback and just make sure that people were aware of what the state was trying to do to curb some of those impacts from COVID-19. Next slide, please. So we appreciate you doing this. So I've amended the agenda a little bit that you might have seen when TJ had it up, and we can go back and talk about that before we leave. So we're just going to focus on this and two other pieces of business that we needed to do before the December meeting. The other ones I was able to move to the December meeting. So so that we can meet some other Title I requirements. So the three things that we're going to go through is there's a short video that we're going to be showing that the state put together, and then we'll just work our way through the slide deck so that you can better understand what the focus areas are and how they align to the state's 311 plan, which I'll also share with you. That's been shared with all staff. And then there's a short survey for us to fill out and just a couple of questions for us to do as a group. And there's only one form that has to fill out. I'm required to fill it out. So I'll just get feedback and suggestions from you, and we'll submit that and be good. But I appreciate you being here, and I'm glad that we get a chance to do this through this venue. So on the next slide is the video, TJ. Perfect, thank you. I think you can just click the button in the middle. I know sometimes they automatically play.
Sorry, give me a second.
Thanks, Ross. And yeah, if you want to share the video
Due to
with
the
anyone too,
COVID-19
you have the link
pandemic,
now.
public schools across the nation have received federal relief funds to address safely reopening schools and sustaining safe operations over the next 3 years. For Hawaii's public schools, the Department of Education has been allocated more than $400 million under the American Rescue Plan, Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, also
That's the
known
COVID,
as
huh?
ESSER 3. As the steward of these funds, the department is fiscally responsible to ensure all expenditures are appropriate and aligned to the intent and spirit of ESSER 3, with the ultimate goal of supporting students. This includes supporting the academic, social, emotional, and mental health needs of students resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. To accomplish this, the department's educational plan outlines 3 focus areas. First, health and safety. The department has prioritized the health and safety of students and staff with the goal of providing all students access to high-quality, daily, in-person learning. Second, accelerated learning. The department will continue to implement an equitable approach to re-engage and support students in their learning through a variety of evidence-based practices. And third, social-emotional learning. The department will improve academic outcomes for students by meeting their social and emotional needs in ways that are asset-oriented and personalized. In addition to the educational plan, the department has a corresponding fiscal plan. The fiscal plan provides details relating to specific requirements under the law. This includes 1. That a minimum of 23% of the total funds go toward learning loss mitigation, to address the academic impact of lost instructional time. 2. That a minimum of 1% of the total funds go toward summer learning and enrichment programs. And 3. That a minimum of 1% of the total funds go toward comprehensive after-school programs. The department is gathering community input and feedback on its plan. Mahalo for your support in ensuring the academic success, safety, and well-being for our students and staff.
Perfect. So while TJ pulls the slide deck back up, just the main thing that they want to make sure that you're aware of is that this funding, the sole purpose of it is to help mitigate the impact that COVID-19 has had on the schools in Hawaii. And so we'll go through a little bit of what that looks like in a more generalized fashion and how it relates to other focus areas for the state. So just like I said, the purpose is to mitigate the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and outlines the department's priorities to ensure the academic success as well as the well-being of students and staff. And we know based on data that we've received, things that the students are going through, things that they've shared with us, and an increase in certain behaviors on campus that COVID-19 and not being in school last year has definitely had an impact on our students, both academically and socially, emotionally. And we can share, well, actually, because this is linked in the agenda, you should all have access to the slideshow, so you'll have access to this as well. But Ross, can you click on the one pager real quick, because it is a really good just visual of all of the pieces that are involved in the plan and puts it together succinctly, but we are going to go through each area on the slides. Okay, so you can click on the link if you have, when you get access to the slideshow or when you access the slideshow, if you'd like to look at that. Oh, thank you. Ross, we were just talking today about how you were going to be going through this presentation a few times since you attend all of our meetings. Perfect, there it is. So again, they want to make sure that the purpose, that everybody realizes the purpose for this plan and what the focus is. So the 3 main areas are health and safety, accelerated learning, because definitely not having that in-person learning last year has taken its toll on our students, and the social emotional learning piece as well. So the statewide components are the identified actions within the 3 focus areas that guide the implementation of the educational plan. So working with community partners, Naho Pena A'o, professional development for teachers, our support system, MTSS, where we're putting together structures to try and help support students academically, social, emotionally, as well as health and safety as well, and behavior, attendance. Systems infrastructure, quality data for decision making, equity, making sure that everybody has an opportunity to receive the additional services or can benefit from anything that gets put in place within the plan, and then engaging well-rounded learning for all students. So we were able to put together a complex area plan instead of them just having a statewide plan. We were at least able to give input, and then the CASs submitted complex area plans for approval so that it better met the needs of our students. Definitely the needs on Oahu are going to look a little bit different than ours. Just to recap of the 3 areas that the funds will be addressing. And then this shows how it ties in. Interim Superintendent Hayashi had shared with all staff at the beginning of the year about in-person learning being the best place for students to learn, and that we would put in place mitigating factors to try and keep everybody as safe as possible while in-person learning took place. And that the 311 that we were going to be focused on are 3 areas for students, including attendance, academics, and social emotional learning, taking care of our staff's well-being, as well as the systems, especially around safety, to have a safe return for all. And so they're just outlining through this how those areas that we're focusing on in the relief fund focus and tie in with our statewide plan as well. So some examples of some things that might be used under the funds might be used for under health and safety, so that we can still provide high quality in-person learning on a daily basis. So things like PPE supplies, being able to pay for, you know, if staff need to stay home and they've been identified as being positive, then we can offset the costs of them needing to take days off without using their own sick days, as well as air purifiers for schools that don't have good ventilation in the rooms. We were provided with air purifiers at our school. We're very fortunate though. We have great ventilation in our rooms. So there was just a few rooms where we've placed, in areas on campus where we've placed air purifiers at this time. For major focus area 2 on accelerated learning, some examples. Of course, there's a delivery right in the middle of this. Some examples that might be put in place, and this isn't necessarily just for our school, but across the state. Some examples might be universal student screeners, things like we use like iReady right now that also provide response to interventions, suggestions, and supplies for students and teachers, targeted professional development for staff, and personalized learning programs. And then around social emotional learning, you might see things like increased SBBH services, which is a higher level of counseling. I knew I should have just done this in my car. School health support positions and mental health services and systems. All right, so now this is the part where you get to give just some input or maybe questions or things that from the examples that we've seen and the areas that we've talked about. Maybe there's particular things that you're wondering if that's part of the plan or you want to give as a suggestion to see if that's something that's been considered. So TJ, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, and I'm going to pull up my form that I can fill out. So the first question that they asked is, how clear are the SCC members that the ESSER 3 educational plan is meant to address challenges caused by COVID-19? And this is on a scale. So 1 is not clear at all, or 5 is very clear. And that the funding is meant to address challenges caused by COVID-19. Maybe we can just type some numbers in the chat box. Thank you, Ms. Neatfield. Thank you, Mrs. Patel. Thank you, Hinano. Donna, thank you. Thanks, Ross. I heard that's pretty much how the middle school felt too. I think the slideshow mentions it enough what the purpose is. So I will know. Everybody feels confident about that and very clear that they understand the purpose of the funding and the plan. So following through the presentation on the educational plan, how satisfied were you all in this on the proposed use of the funding areas that I mentioned? And those 3 areas again were health and safety, accelerated learning, and social emotional learning. So 1 would, I'm not satisfied at all. 5 would be very satisfied on the 3 focus areas that were proposed to fund. Again, if you can just put your number in the chat, we can kind of get an average. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just gonna go back and see how many responses I had. One, 2, 8. All right, so we do round up to a 5 on that one as well, 4.6. All right, so at this time, are there any suggestions for additional system-wide state strategies? So not necessarily any individual pieces underneath those main categories, but are there additional categories system-wide that you feel need to be addressed besides health and safety, accelerated learning, and social emotional health and well-being? And you can either unmute or type it in the chat, and then I'll just add them to the form. Or you can type NA or no, no suggestions.
Amy, I just, since it's like my second go around at this,
Sure.
Now that I got to think about it a little bit more the second time around, where does family engagement fall under?
So right now under those, I would say they could fall under social emotional learning and health and safety. And that would fall under, you know, parents being engaged in what's happening on campuses and being a part of that, with keeping kids home with when they're sick, all those things that we're asking of parents and families regarding COVID-19. And then the social emotional learning piece, you know, just keeping the school informed. We've had a lot of parent engagement when it comes to how their students are and how things have affected them over the past year. That's also been a place where parents have been highly involved.
Okay. Yeah, I just kind of,
Great question.
That's been my focus, is the family engagement piece. So how are we gonna work with the parents so that they help with the accelerated learning and all that other stuff too? So
I definitely think under the social emotional learning piece, I can add that to the next session. I think it would be important if we could provide things just like trainings and even awareness presentations on some issues that we see are really affecting our students right now, so that they can be aware of certain signs at home, or they may not have realized, or they might be having some concerns but just not sure where to reach out. So I'll add that, because that would fall under other issues or comments.
Thank you.
I have I hope that this is on topic, but I'm not sure. I know that there's so much talk of like, how the kids are doing and like everything, but is there anything in place for teachers? Like support groups or something, because I know that there are a lot of teachers who are kind of struggling, I don't know, like through all of this stuff. And so I know that we focus so much on the kids, and that's awesome. I don't dispute that at all, but I'm just wondering if there is an option for teachers to get some also social emotional help through the school, if that's possible.
So there is already, and actually I can share that with staff, because it may be that people aren't necessarily reaching out. I know that some schools have been doing just moment in time type surveys to get a feel for how teachers are feeling and staff are feeling throughout the day. But there are services that are provided through the DOE that are essentially counseling services and support services for teachers. And I know there's a certain number of sessions that you can start with, just to see what type of additional support you might need, or get a chance to talk with somebody. So I did put that in the form, but that at least initial start I can get out to teachers, because I can get out to all staff actually, because staff may not feel as comfortable letting anyone on campus know or sharing with anyone on campus. But if there was a number that they knew they could call, they might be more likely to reach out. And yeah, I know that definitely it's probably a higher percentage than we even realize. And something actually that we were talking about the principal meeting today, I know that in most of our meetings we've talked about what are some positive things we can put in place, and we're trying to do the wellness challenge right now, and we're doing some things right before winter break. But I think some of the stressors go above just having positive things in place on campus. And so that is definitely an important piece. And it's part of the 311. So I think that's a part that maybe we need to be talking about a little bit more, and sharing resources with teachers more, where they can reach out if they are struggling, and staff. Because it's not just work stuff either. So they may not realize there's other places they can go. Thanks for mentioning that. But I did add it to the form also. The last question is other issues or comments regarding the plan. Any other thoughts about system-wide things that we should be really turning our attention to? I don't know, Donna, if you have anything that you'd like to share, just things that you've heard from other students, or things that you've noticed or heard on campus that might be some things that you think could help, and we can add those in as well.
As of the moment, I can't really think of anything, but yeah, I'll definitely bring it up if I think about it.
One thing I will say that I think is going to help socially and emotionally with a lot of people on campus is there was talk today at the principals meeting about starting to bring in, with safety measures in place, some of our more normal activities. So, some of the schools have, like the elementary school has started doing field day, and schools are talking about doing assemblies and performances for the holidays. And I know that they're having to modify them. So at our school, that might look like having one class grade level that's able to do an assembly outside, or maybe two, and then streaming to the rest of the groups. Also possibly having dances, trying to have them at outdoor venues again, and again, it would probably just be per class, like a 9th grade dance, a 10th grade dance. So we were given some suggestions today on how we can make those types of things happen. And so as long as we have some safety measures in place, they were trying to find out, Cass Snelling was going to follow up on what would be the requirements as far as vaccinations or testing that would have to take place before those types of things, and any adults that came to help, what the requirement would be for vaccinations or testing as well. But once we have that information, we can start moving forward. I'm really looking towards second semester, things being able to open a little bit more for us and having a little more freedom there, which I think will definitely help with that social emotional piece on campus for sure. Any other thought about statewide systems, or even just pieces that you're thinking about that already fall under one of these three categories that you'd like to mention, just to see if we are thinking about that under that category? All right, so I'll put none at this time for the additional system-wide state strategies. And under the additional issues and comments, we'd like to see additional support to promote family engagement, and having some type of support or resources for teachers who are struggling to address the staff section of 311. All right, one last call before I hit the submit button. Okay, all right, I will submit that then. Thank you. Good conversation and thoughts. All right, TJ, can we just double check on the slide deck? There might be one more slide.
I'm sorry, I think the slide just said thank you for your
Oh, perfect.
but you just double check. Give me a
Thank
second.
you for your cooperation.
Yeah, Ms. Stafford, the last slide just said mahalo.
Great, thanks, TJ. All right, so I just do want to bring attention to the things that we're going to be moving to the December meeting, and they all go together. So it'll actually be a really nice, just a really nice combining of these three pieces. Basically going over Q1 data around attendance and academics and scores that that we have, which will be a nice lead into. In December, we're going to be doing our iReady testing, our second round of testing, to see how our students are doing in comparison to the beginning of the year assessments that they took. And then we'll do an overview of our comprehensive needs assessment that uses data to outline our strengths and our challenges, and how what types of things we can put in place to help either continue the things that are working or address the things that have been challenging, and how that kind of fits into the financial plan as well as the academic plan, which will come up later as well. So those three things will move to the December meeting. But we did, for Title I, we do just need to review the school parent compact, and then as part of the SCC, just review our bylaws and get some feedback on that, and if there's anything that we feel needs to be added into our bylaws. So TJ, I'll let you start, just since I've been talking for so long, and going over our bylaws first, and then I'll review the school compact, which I'm hoping will come up when I share.
Great, thank you. So everyone give me a brief second to pull up the new bylaws. So you guys can also, I believe, click on the agenda and then pull up the bylaws if you want to look at it under a different cover. Thanks, Jess. Was that the bylaws? What was that? Go form edit.
Yeah, you can just click on the link in the chat.
Thanks,
That
Jess.
might be quicker for you.
So when I looked at the bylaws that we had for the Koala High School School Community Council, the bylaws that we originally had was actually kind of outdated in a way. So what I did was really just take the bylaws that was in the new state manual for the School Community Council, and I just filled in the blanks kind of deal, where you see like the school pretty much would be addressing like just our school. So I went ahead and just put Kohala High School wherever it needed to be in the document. But it just goes, talking about what the name of our council is, Kohala High School Community Council, the objectives of our council. And looking at all of these, it came directly from the manual. In what we need to do as a SCC committee. Here it has our objectives where we review the academic plans, the financial plans. We review evidence of schools' progress in the implementation of the academic plan. Participate in the principal selection and the evaluation process. Submit requests for waivers. Provide recommendation for revisiting and creating new school level policies and procedures. Review the principal's determination of school repair and maintenance needs, and provide opportunities for community input and collaboration. Under membership and election, this is where we break up our committee members. And when you look at our council itself, we have 9 members. One would be the principal, and then we also have 2 teachers, 2 non-certificated staff members, and a student, which we use our student council representatives, and also 2 parents, 1 community member. So when we look at the breakup of our committee, it needs to be 50% representation from both school and 50% representation from parents. So when you look at our number breakup, we're kind of there. We're at kind of 50-50. These are the requirements for the members, for the teachers. The teachers need to be a Unit 5 member with HSTA, as well as the non-certificated staff members. Those are usually the HGEA and UPW members. And then, of course, our student member would be our student council. The parent representatives is normally someone that is a parent of a student that goes to Kohala High School. And then, of course, a community representative that lives in our community. This just goes about how to do the term of the election when we're voting our members into the positions. And then, of course, alternates. There normally should be 1 alternate for the non-certificated, 1 alternate for the teachers, and 1 alternate for the parent and community member. And the student committee should have a alternate as well. This is how we're supposed to handle our nominations and elections. So we've been pretty much doing it. I think this last term, when I kind of like did the elections for the non-certificated one, we kind of like that's how we followed this guidelines here when we were doing our voting. How to do your voting, announcements of the members that's elective. This you might not know, but by a vote of 2/3 for the committee members. If you're absent from 3 consecutive meetings, you can be removed from the SCC committee.
Don't
Um,
anybody get too excited.
but notice,
I already
but
see
note,
your wheels turning.
notice that it says may expel. It does not say that will expel you, but it says may expel you. And then also,
Just
if
like
there's a vacancy,
standards-based grading, we'll give you
yeah.
more chances.
If there's a vacancy, how to fill the vacancy, and then of course the officers of our committee. We have a chairperson, which is Hinano, our vice chairperson, which is Jessica, and our secretary, which is Brenda. Then this is the terms of the office. So we kind of like did our terms offset, so that when we have our committee will never be where we have everyone that's brand new on the committee. It always would have the voting would be off by years, so that if this year we're voting for teachers and non-certificated, then the next year would be the parent and the community, so that there's always someone that's already, it's like a 1-year overlap between committee members. These are the duties of the chairperson, vice chairperson, secretary, and the duties of the members. Committees, our committee can make subcommittees within our basic committee. A quorum, what would be a quorum? Selection of the committees, reporting responsibilities, standing committees, meetings, telling us we should have at least 1 meeting per month. Of course, if we need special meetings, order of the meetings, quorum. Quorum normally is always 50%. Public comment, and then amendments to the bylaws. Anytime we make any amendments to the bylaws, it's required that we need a 2/3 vote from all the members. So this is just pretty much our kind of like guiding thing for us. This would only be applying to us here at Kohala High School. So, and it's kind of like following all the laws that was set forth in Act 51. So, any questions from anyone?
Thank you, TJ.
But I think that we're going to need to vote to approve the bylaws, because we need to go ahead and submit our bylaws to our CAS, because I think this actually should have been done in the beginning. But looking at our bylaws and stuff, I need a motion from a member of the committee to approve the bylaws as presented.
TJ,
Yes,
this
Ms.
is
Meekfield.
Melody.
Hi.
Hi. Hello. I have a question. On the very first paragraph,
The preamble.
yes, could you scroll all the way up to the top of that?
Mhm.
And it says, in accordance with the Act 51, the Aloha High School Community
Oh, there-
Council. Is that
okay,
supposed to
so-
be Kohala High School
Yep.
Community Council?
Yeah, so that
Okay.
was the that was the guideline that they gave us, right? It was Aloha High School. So wherever we see the Aloha High School, we needed to put
Yes. Okay.
Kohala.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thanks. I tried to catch them all, and I thought I did.
Good catch, Melody. I like Aloha High School. The Academy of Aloha.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Ms. Meekfield.
Okay, can I move to approve the bylaws as presented with that one edit?
Thank you, Jessica. It's been moved and seconded that we approve our bylaws. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ross. Seconded by Ross Paget. Is there any discussion? Seeing that there's no discussion, I need a vote, please. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those,
Hi.
all those
Aye.
opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. Bylaws have been approved. Will be submitted to our CAS. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks
moving
for
over,
catching us up on that, TJ.
yeah. So moving over to the second item in the share and review, Ms. Stafford, if you want to go ahead with regards to the school parent compact.
And I'm hoping I can share my screen. Hang on one second. If I can't do a window, I might be able to do, oh, good, I think I can. All right, there it is. So we are a Title school, or Title I school. We have, right now we have about 59.45% of our student population that qualifies for free and reduced lunch. And because of that, we get additional funding. And so there are requirements that need to be met in order to continue receiving this additional federal funding. And so one of them is a compact that you get in your beginning of the year packets each year, and you might sign it and not even realize what all it says, but it is a really important piece. And I know that 2 years ago, this committee went through and kind of fine-tuned and wordsmithed some of the pieces in it. Basically holds everyone accountable for being a part of the student's education, and shares what we're all committed to do, and that also includes the student. Let me just get to so the first section just talks about what the school parent compact must describe, what must be a part of it. And definitely one of the biggest pieces is talking about and addressing the importance of communication, and that it's a two-way communication that's in place. So let me see if I can share my other screen of what our compact looks like. And I just downloaded a new version of Microsoft. So for some reason, some of my stuff is coming up this really cool like black background with white lettering. So I hope you can see it okay. See if I can make it a little bit bigger.
We probably want to change Teacher Ease to Infinite Campus Gradebook.
Perfect. That's exactly why we're looking at this, to try and catch some of the things. Okay. So the beginning part is just kind of our opening statement. At Kohala High School, we recognize it takes all of us working together to prepare our students for life after high school. Whether they choose a career, a college, or a passion to pursue, students need to demonstrate qualities and characteristics of a valued employee and productive citizen. We promise to fulfill our roles to support our students in achieving their highest potential, and to provide them with opportunities when they graduate. So here's the pieces, and actually this is the old one because we updated it for the new one for this year. So I think because of me switching over, it pulled up the old one, but I'll change it on here anyway, just so we have that new one. So it has been great because we have been using Infinite Campus more this year. When I've called parents, or parents have called me saying, oh, I noticed that my child got marked absent for X amount of days, or that their absences still haven't been excused, and I sent in that note. I know that they're checking their students' grades as well, and not relying just on getting those mid-quarter progress reports. So that's really good that people are using Infinite Campus more. So just look at these parent agreements real quick, see if you catch anything else or anything else that you feel we need to add in. This is a big one, and I know this was especially difficult at the beginning of the year with us having limited transportation. And again, I know we've mentioned it in these meetings a lot, but parents have really stepped up this year to get their students to school. I know it's not always right on time, but we greet them and we're happy when they do get there. So we know that's been a challenge this year. Any thoughts or feedback on the parents part, especially any parents that we have on the phone?
What about the possibility of asking parents to provide or to follow through with safety measures that the school implements?
That might be an important one, especially for this year.
For this year and a year. So whether we're asking students to stay home because of the possibility of COVID, et cetera, but just the general safety measures of the school.
How does that look?
Okay.
I need to change the font.
That,
Okay, any other thoughts? Okay. And then that's the part where you would have signed at the beginning of the year. So for the students, I think we might be considering a safety portion as well. It's important that I do my best, and I will do the following: attend school on time with a positive attitude about learning, complete daily assignments and projects, use my time wisely, and return all assignments on time. That's a big one that we're still working on. Follow classroom and school rules. Any other things that we feel need to be added in? Donna, any thoughts on things that you as a student feel that you'd like to see students adhering to more, or that maybe we need to make a little more clear?
Uh, no, I have I think that's all good. I can't really think of anything, so
Yeah, no
yeah.
worries. If you think of anything after the fact, you can let us know too. This is a working document, and we'll actually be preparing it and adding in these things for next school year. So thank you. All right, anybody else?
this might sound a little bit excessive, but just having their own self-monitoring system through Infinite Campus, they have gradebook as well. And if they continue to monitor their own progress, perhaps it's easier to stay on track.
I think I like. How does that look?
That looks good.
That is an important piece and something we're trying to get them to do. And what's nice is when I see students don't have anything to do, or if they come to my office, I'm like, let's check Infinite Campus. And a lot of times, like I'd say at least 85% of the time, students are like, yeah, I'm doing okay, except in world history, or I'm doing okay, except I need to turn in some assignments in this particular class. So that's definitely encouraging. I think also monitoring their attendance though, and being aware of graduation requirements could be empowering, and let them know. It's kind of eye-opening when you open up that attendance and see how all those numbers on the side, because it calculates it by class. So how many classes you've missed. I don't think even parents realize sometimes until they get the reports just how many days their students have been out of school. All right, and then the teacher agreement. Provide high quality curriculum and instruction, provide a supportive and effective learning environment that enables students to meet the state standards. Use appropriate teaching strategies and materials for different learning styles, provide a positive classroom environment, provide frequent reports to parents on their child's progress, ensure regular two-way meaningful communication with family members, and provide an effective and supportive learning environment. We already had that at the top, so we'll take this one out.
Sorry.
Amy,
Oh,
go ahead, Jess. You first.
because otherwise I'm going to lose what I was thinking. So I just see on the communication, there's that communication piece with the teachers. And I think there was a communication piece with the parents as well. Is there a communication piece with the students? Like, I just feel like that's one of the biggest things, is that when kids are absent or what, like they rarely follow up with their teachers on the stuff that they miss. And I don't know if that's like, I think that's an appropriate thing for the kids to also be responsible for, keeping in communication with their teacher, even when they know they're going to be absent as well.
I agree with that piece totally, Jessica, especially when you start to look at emails. The students often do not read their emails from teachers in school. I'm sure they're overwhelmed. There's so many emails, but at the same time, they're just not always reading what is important. And I think the email messages that teachers send are not always read. So this would be really good.
I have kind of a funny quick story that I'm always like on the kids for, like, why didn't you ever read your email? I send you guys these emails and you guys never respond, da da da. And they saw my email box today and it had like 800 unread messages. And they were like, Miss! And I was like, oh, sorry.
Oh, that's funny. That's also, though, knowing how to weed through and answer the ones that really are timely and important, because other emails might be just informative things or confirming what you already know, and you're able to peruse through and see that, right? I need some help with wording because I'm trying to say when they're absent, or to find out assignments that they might be missing, but I tend to get too wordy. Check my email regularly and maintain, I'm looking for an adjective here too, maintain.
Regular.
Thank you. Communication with my teachers, especially when I am absent or need clarification on assignments.
Yes.
Because I have heard many times, and that's a really good one to bring up, that teachers are like, students are like, I haven't heard from my teacher, or, well, I don't know what to do. Like, well, have you talked with your teacher or emailed them to find out what you need to do? And I really have been putting that on students when I talk to families, especially if we have someone who's a close contact or out for an extended period of time for whatever reason. I let the parents know, I let the students know, you need to email your teachers, get in touch with them, let them know how long you're going to be out and what they would like for you to finish. And even if you don't hear from them, you should be checking Google Classroom and seeing what you can do on your own as well. So I know some of them do, but a lot of them do not. It's a really good habit to start now. And it's also an opportunity to learn proper communication and how to clearly explain what you need or what's happening. Okay. I think under the teacher one, we should add in ensure regular two-way meaningful communication with family members and students. And even this one, provide frequent reports to parents and students on, let's see, that's up here. I think it's important that teachers are communicating with students on their progress as well. And reports is basically just communication on, it's not like an actual written report or anything. You can be reporting verbally or through email or text concerns that you have. Okay, any additional pieces or
can
changes?
I just add this, Amy?
Sure.
So,
sure.
I know that the parents and the students have about following and abiding by classroom rules and school rules. I just, every year that, and Jess, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like every year we're talking and discussing about how teachers are not being consistent on the school and classroom rules. So is there something you can put in there where it's saying, I will be fair and consistent on the classroom school rules? Because it just seems like every year we've had a conversation about teachers not following through with following a school rule, and then we get into a discussion on, come on, let's be consistent on what we're doing here, so that we can provide clear communication to the students and parents that this is not allowed during classroom time, whether it's cell phones or hats or whatever is being fair and consistent with following through with those school rules.
So provide clear, fair expectations and consequences to students. Oh my goodness, my dog sounds like he's deprived of any attention or love. He's getting whiny. Hey, we'll go out in a minute. Hang on. Does that make sense? Or does it need to be more clear? Provide clear, fair, as I'm talking about being clear, fair expectations and consequences to students to ensure consistency school-wide. Does that get across what you're trying to say, Ross, and what you're expressing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not just. Does that make sense to you? I mean, it's just to me that we at every SCC meeting every year we've discussed this topic about the inconsistencies of how staff is not abiding, like following through with the school rules. So,
well, and you were just in our staff meeting on Wednesday too, and so you're in our staff meeting sometimes on Wednesdays when we're giving reminders about cell phones and that type of thing. So, and it has come up in SCC meetings quite regularly. When you mentioned that, then I thought, and one thing that we're struggling with this year is follow school classroom and school rules. I don't know how to say it, but basically, if you break one of those rules and it's been clear what would happen, that you basically accept the consequences for your actions. Give me 1 second while you think about that. Come here. Come here.
Ross, I think the inconsistencies has been on the table on SCC since 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just after hearing it for the amount of time I've been on SCC now, it's sort of the consistency thing keeps popping up. So, but maybe what I'm thinking of the fall classroom and school rules, or something along the lines of I will take responsibility for.
Take response.
I will take responsibility for my decision making or choices. Yeah.
Because we do. We have, hold on 1 second. Come here. It's okay. Come here. I know. Don't yell. Come here. I mean, the important piece to start is that teachers are being very clear and consistent in their own classrooms. And then that, you know, if it's clear and the students are being provided those reminders, that then they take responsibility for whatever choices they make. Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, we have volleyball got switched from Friday to today, if you didn't know. So it's going to be streaming right after this meeting.
Is enforce too strong of a word? Like for the teacher one, enforcing?
Yeah. Provide clear, fair expectations and consequences.
So like maybe provide clear and fair expectations and enforce consequences or something like that?
Students.
Or, yeah.
I think I have an idea for the student agreement section. So I think it's important for like students to like contribute to like a healthy and clean and safe environment. I think it's also important. Like I think I've noticed kind of like, I don't know, candy wraps on the ground in school. So I think it's so important for like students to like pick up after themselves, you know?
I really like that. And that actually is one of our school rules that's on our learning expectations poster. But I do feel that taking pride in our campus, and how could we word that? I think it is worth highlighting on its own, because especially now we're eating outside, so there's additional opportunities to just kind of clean up after yourself and maintain a healthy, clean campus. So and part of our expectations on our school-wide expectations is cleaning up after myself and others. So even if you do see something on the ground and it's not yours, that you would still help. Does that convey what you were trying to say, Donna?
Yes, it's pretty accurate.
Great suggestion. Okay. I like the additions that we've made in this. And then my agreement piece is that I will support our students' academic and emotional well-being, and will do the following: provide a supportive environment that allows for communication between student, parent, and teacher, ensure teachers have high quality curriculum that meets the needs of all students, and ensure that parents have reasonable access to staff with opportunities to volunteer and observe. Does anyone have anything that they feel should be added under mine? I do feel, that there maybe should be something under there, and Donna maybe, and teachers, anybody actually can kind of add in something to do with providing fair and equitable, enforcing consequences as well, but making sure that I'm fair and equitable when I do have to issue consequences. Definitely a big part of what I've been doing, and I know it's a difficult piece for students and families to understand as well. Now's the time to give me things that I have to do if you feel there's something else that needs to be added.
No, I like how you added that for the principals section about enforcing school rules and consequences.
Thank you. I did notice that, Brenda. I started adding some in, and I'm like, I'm just gonna have to do that later.
I did have one question, Amy. So this is presented to the students and parents in the beginning of the school year. Is this like are they engaged when they're going through the compact? Like, how is this? How?
So we do go through the beginning of the school year packets, but Donna, you'd be a great person to tell us because you've been here for several years. Have you ever seen this school compact or remember talking about it in class?
Usually the school or student parent school compact, it comes with a variety of like other sheets that we have to sign in the beginning of the school. Yeah, that's usually given to like all students, I think. But yeah, it's given to everyone at the beginning of the school.
Okay. All right.
And
My
I
question is for Donna then. Donna.
Yep. Go ahead.
Would you say that this is an effective way of yourself as a student and your parents understanding this compact, or would you suggest doing something separate so that it's more easy to understand on a parent and student side? Like, should it be separate from all the other forms that got to be filled out? Because I have a feeling that parents are just signing off on everything that's been given and then they just turn it all in without really taking a look at the compact, and even going for students that everyone's just signing off because there's so many forms. So would you feel like having a separate occasion to go over this compact with yourself and parents, so that when you sign it, now you understand what you're signing?
Yeah, I think I agree. I definitely think like it should be like kind of organized to like be separated, and not like be in like one, all of it in like just one section. Yeah, I think I can see why you pointed that out. Yeah, I agree.
I definitely see where this can get lost in the packet because I get 2 packets at the beginning of the year myself, and I know that I've seen these and I know what they are, but I haven't gone through and read specifically what each school has in their compact. So it's definitely something we can do in our beginning week that we do with students, but we need to problem solve how we make this more visible to parents. As well, and maybe sending it at a different time and not just a part of that beginning of the year time would be helpful. Maybe even sharing it in activities. Go ahead.
My solution for everything is make a video about it.
Which is a great idea, Brenda. Yeah, it's a great idea to add another form of communication. So, like, I like that idea too.
Your videos get a lot of action. a lot of views. Yeah, great idea. It's a great start. And then maybe when we do like our Title I meeting at the beginning of the year, I know we don't get as many people as we would like to come to those, but that is when we do our big presentations. And in the future, if we do something with student presentations or anything like that, it'd be a good time just to highlight and remind parents of this compact and where it was in the packet and what it means, you know, what you're actually signing to. Great suggestions. Thank you so much for the feedback. So this is another piece that we'll be able to submit as part of our Title I requirements and have ready. I'll make the changes on my regular document if I can find it, hopefully, or I'll retype it. So it's not in this crazy layout. I'm still not sure what this is.
Stealth mode.
I like that. All right.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ms. Stafford. I'm going to move over down to the announcement section now, since we're kind of wrapping up our meeting and getting towards the end.
Oh,
The new operating on just thing went away too fast.
that makes sense. I am in stealth mode. It's nighttime.
Donna, I'm gonna kind of like put it on you now if there's any update with regards to STUCO.
So today we had a meeting and we kind of discussed how like December is gonna look like and what November or Thanksgiving is gonna look like, and the event, like the kind of like events that'll pop up. So for November, we have Thanksgiving grams. And so basically we'll be like giving out like Rice Krispie treats to everyone, and it's gonna have like tags on them, and it's gonna be like Thanksgiving themed, but it's so basically we're like handing out like nice messages to everyone, you know. And then for December, we have our Spirit Week planned out. So for Monday, it's the night before Christmas Day, and that's basically like pajama day. And we'll also be doing games during Spirit Week during like lunch or recess.
And Donna, did you guys have the dates for the Spirit Week for
Yes.
December?
Yes. So
What
Spirit
are they?
Week. Spirit Week is during December 6th through December 10th.
Great.
And then December 7 or Tuesday is Deck the Halls Day. And then December 8 is Winter Wonderland Whiteout Day, and December 9 is Baby It's Cold Outside Day, and December 10 it's Christmas Cast Day. And most of the games are going to be like, I think most of the games are kind of like food based, you know. For Monday it's going to be Milk and Cookies. It's a game where you like eat like a cookie and a milk like as fast as you can. And this Tuesday is blindfold present wrapping, and I think the title explains it. And then for Wednesday, it's Chubby Bunny. That's basically when you you know, like stuff your mouth with like marshmallows. And then December 9 will be candy cane balloon popping game. So like you suck the candy cane as sharp as it is, and then you pop the balloon. But basically all of these games will definitely consider like the because they're gonna be like eating or like licking candy and stuff, like we'll definitely consider social distancing and yeah, we'll make that thing. Yeah.
Those are all
That's
great,
awesome. Yeah, great
fun
idea.
ideas.
Look forward to it. Can't wait.
And
Exciting.
just one more thing to add to, we have like the culmination of all of that with an assembly on that Friday. And so like the kids' whole theme is like a new legacy. So we're doing something a little bit different with the lip sync this year, and going to do something a little different with the live streaming games and stuff that we're going to be doing. So
Yeah.
and we're waiting for Mrs. Stafford's approval on our proposal. So
I just saw that come through the email today. Thank you. Based on what you've told me, it's already approved. And I loved the live streaming of the games. That made it a lot of fun and, you know, more interactive since most of us are in the classroom. So great job.
Finally, if there's any open discussion that anyone wants to bring up or talk about, any topic that they want to cover, anyone?
Even if there's anything that you'd like considered at a future meeting, feel free to bring it up.
TJ, can we add the school pickup to the December agenda?
Yeah, can.
Just Amy, we just had a few concerns about the afternoon pickup for the high school, but it's already getting late, so just add it to the December agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I
Our
are
next-
meeting tomorrow, Ross, so we can talk a little bit about it too, see if there's
Okay.
some initial pieces.
Okay.
Our next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, December 9th. I'm not sure. Is there anything going on that day that we might have to reschedule? No? No? Okay, great.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, we'll keep it as December 9th. I need a motion, please, to adjourn the meeting.
a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I second.
Thank you.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn our meeting. Is there any discussion? Seeing that there's
No,
not,
just
meeting
thank
adjourned.
you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great night. See you
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thanks, TJ. Great job.
Thanks, Miss Swan. See you later. If you
I'm
guys have
waving and I have my
if you-
camera off.
if you have some time, take a look at the hallway board if you can. I think it's kind of
Oh,
ready
which
to go.
one?
So
Is the fence?
Right outside the office?
the bulletin board in the hallway. So if you ever have time to take a look at
Oh,
it,
the
kind of
middle
take a
one.
look. Yeah.
Definitely tomorrow when I'm running around at recess.
All right. See you
Thanks,
guys later.
guys. Good night.
Aloha.